First, sad reports coming out of Austin, Texas on Cedric Benson that he got hit last night on a motorcycle and lost his life. And Cedric was one of our favorites, mine and Sally's. He was a true spirit, one of the toughest players we've ever coached, if not the toughest. He was a spirit. Somebody stole his TV once, and they had it in the apartment. He knew where it was, and he told the police to go get it, and he said the police wouldn't get it, so he goes and knocks the door in and goes and gets his TV, comes back out, and the police called it breaking and entering. He called it getting my TV back. And I said, you can't do that. You stole the TV. And he said, no, it was my TV. So that's just the attitude that he had. So I wouldn't let him practice the week for Baylor. I wouldn't let him travel. He said, can I be on the bus? I said, no, you messed up. Can I be on the sideline? Nope. You're out. You're out for a full week. I don't want you around. Can I be in the stands? Nope. Can't even buy a ticket. I don't want you around. We win the game. We get back at 2 a.m, and Cedric Benson's standing there waiting on the bus. And that's just the kind of teammate he was. Then we were playing Michigan, his last game in the Rose Bowl. And Texas had never been to the Rose Bowl. Texas had never played Michigan. So it was really a cool game and a cool moment. And we had Coach Tim Beckler and Coach Royal as co-captains for the game. And you knew it was things had become about money when Mickey Mouse flipped the coin when you got Coach Tim Beckler and Coach Royal on the field. But I thought that was a little bit different. And Cedric hurt his knee the first play of the game. So he strained his tendons in his knee. The doctor said, you're a first-round draft choice, don't play anymore. And he said, tape it up, I'm going to play. He went back in the game. He played the whole game. After the game, I see him sitting over in the corner crying, and I said, is it your knee? And he said, no, Coach. This is the last time I'll ever wear a Texas football uniform. So that's the kind of competitor he was. That's the kind of person he was. And Sally and I, along with a lot of Longhorns, are just crushed. So sad day for a lot of people because we're really going to miss him. This team is really buying in. They're doing everything we ask them to do. Practice has been good. They're upbeat. They're trying to learn. So everything we ask them to do, they're doing. So this morning it's really the end of camp. We've worked them really, really hard. We've utilized every minute of every practice, and we kept them out there about 45 minutes this morning and called them up and sent them to the pool. So they're over in the swimming pool right now. It's the happiest group of young people I've ever seen in my entire life, I think. They thought I was kidding them, and we had them in full gear, and we told them we were going to have a goal line and short yardage scrimmage, and this will be the toughest day they've had since they've ever been here, and we were glad it was hot, and so they're excited and happy right now. But this is pretty much the end of camp as we know it. You don't have two-a-days anymore, obviously. So with your one-a-days, we'll have our open practice tomorrow night, which will be a generic practice, obviously. We won't be working on South Carolina because I'm sure South Carolina will have some people coming to watch. Their fans will be here for sure. And then we take Tuesday off by NCAA rule. And then we will have our early morning practices starting with class beginning on Tuesday. We'll start those early morning practices Wednesday, and then we'll have them Thursday, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do Friday. And then get ready for game week because it is here and it's on us. We've been looking at our quarterback situation very closely, and we're concerned about not having enough leadership on offense, and one of your true leaders has to be your quarterback, and the guys are in a tough spot because all three of them are good enough and all three of them are working hard enough. But Sam Howell will now start taking the snaps with the blue team, our first team, and Cade and Jace will be working more with the white team. We played 4 quarterbacks last year here. Obviously, we need all 3 of them. They will alternate some with the blue team, obviously, as we continue to go through. But the difference right now, Sam's just been more consistent than the other 2. And Jace has had some up and down injuries, and Cade's had a bit of a sore arm too, and Sam hasn't been hurt. So we've got the quarterback situation, at least for now, where we know who's going to be working with each group. Questions?
What will the repetition breakdown far as percentage goes for the quarterback?
Right now, it would be Sam will get the snaps with the blue team, and Jace and Cade will get the snaps with the white team. And they'll split them 50-50.
Any concerns you had when camp entered been alleviated that you can tell us about?
We're still really, really thin and inexperienced at linebacker, so that's a concern. I do feel like that Trey Morrison moving to corner has been a real plus. He's playing really well. We have had so many injuries around here the last couple of years. We've been worried about injuries, and we're in pretty good shape. I think we'll go into South Carolina in pretty good shape if we get through another 2 weeks like we have the first part of practice. Wide receivers, we've had some pulls, so they've missed some, so we've got to get more consistent with our wide receivers. And then you take young quarterbacks and wide receivers in a new offense. That's all new. We're still looking and working through guard and center. Ed Montellis has stepped up and really been a good player at guard, so that's been a real plus for us. At right guard, the last 3 or 4 days, we've moved Marcus McKeithen in there, and he's playing really well. So he's still young, still inexperienced, got some work to do, and he's, 6, 7, or 8 or something. He's real tall, so he and Jordan Tucker and Charlie Heck have to constantly work on playing with low pads. We feel like that we've gotten some of the young guys can give us some depth in the defensive line, that they're going to help us. So we're trying to figure out now how many plays when Strobridge and Crawford come out, Fox comes out, who can step in there and how many plays can they play. So we've made some progress there. Ben Kiernan has done a really good job punting for us. So that's been a plus we didn't know before we started. And Noah Ruckles has been pretty good in field goals. Not 100%, which you need to be in that game. If you miss one, it's awful. It's usually for the game. So we've worked really hard in that area, but he's doing a good job. Other questions?
What else did Sam do to separate himself to earn the blue team snaps, or anything in particular that you really liked about him?
No, and you'll talk to Phil next Monday, and he can go into details. But I think, and Phil and I we've got about 15 eyeballs now, 15 sets of eyeballs in that staff meeting. You take Kenny Browning, you take Darryl Moody, you take Sparky Woods, you take a recruiting staff with Billy, you take the 10 coaches. There's a lot of experience that are watching every little thing we do. We've got some very experienced analysts and quality control guys, and they're watching every play. So we have pretty good evaluation of everybody on our team every day, and we spend an hour and a half in a staff meeting every day, and a lot of that is talking about who are the best players, who are the toughest players, who are the most passionate players for football, and how many plays can each one play when Strobridge comes out, who can step in there for him, and how many plays can they play to be as effective as he is when he's a little tired. So that's what we're doing. But I think all three of them, Jace had a slight pull of a hamstring, so he couldn't run, and that's one of the more effective things he does. So it set him back some. It's hard to step and throw with a hamstring. Cade's had a little bit of a sore arm some, so that hurt him a little bit. But we feel like that right now Sam's a consistent runner and passer, so he's doing both pretty well.
You mentioned leadership. Is putting Sam with the ones, is that the kind of thing that might be able to bring out a little bit more leadership in him, especially being a true freshman and still kind of new?
I feel like that whoever we put with the ones would feel better about themselves and start leading better, because the coaches have given them a voice with the blue. So we think that'll help, even though Jace and Cade they're still going to lead. And we came down to do something on the goal line here this morning really early, and Jace was the first one down the field, a chest bump with the offensive lineman. So these are three really good people at good young people at quarterback. So they're going to help each other and be positive.
Have you challenged everyone on the offense to kind of step up into that leadership role?
Yes.
How has that been reciprocated by the players?
I'm still challenging them. So we haven't gotten enough leadership yet with our offense. The offensive line's really quiet. I mean, you can hear a pin drop in their meetings. So we're trying to get them. Charlie Heck, as good a player as he is, he's not a talker. Polino's not a talker. They're the two oldest guys, and the other guys are young guys trying to learn what to do. We need we've got two senior tight ends. We need them to step up, and they're not talkers. They're quiet, but they need to take a more active role. Your receivers have been all over the place with some pulls and some out and some in, so none of them have been out there enough to consistently step up. And your running backs, I think probably Michael Carter and Antonio Williams are the two that will talk the most and try to lead. I haven't heard Javante say anything, but yes, sir, since I've been here, and I've been here 10 months. So great job, thank you. Anything you need? No, sir. How's it going? Good, sir. I mean, that's a long conversation with Javante because he's just one of the nicest young people I've ever met. So now we're at a position where we've got to start talking to them about more leadership. There's very few seniors on the offense, and the defense has a lot of guys that can step up because they're older. There's 5 seniors on defense or so that'll step up, and you got Wolfhook that's played before that'll step up. So we've got some ground to make up on offense with our leadership.
Do you ever get input from any players of who they think is harder to defend in the quarterback position or any wide receivers, or is it strictly a coach's decision?
Yeah, it's a great question. We ask the players, especially in the summer, who works the hardest and who's lazy, who do you think will be the best players? And then you do the same thing. You do it less on the field because you see them every day. But you want their opinions, and that's very, very important. But we talk to them a lot about their opinions of things, and we also we challenge the defensive coaches like Coach Bateman in a staff meeting. I'll say, Jay, tell us what Phil is doing offensively, our offensive staff's doing that's really, really difficult for you. What are the hardest things to defend? And then Phil, the same thing, ask the defensive staff. And Jay, Tommy, what do you do that we don't have an answer for right now? So these are really good coaches. They're experienced coaches, and they can help each other out.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now that camp is over, what are 2 or 3 words you would describe the team as now that you're hoping you see at the end of the season?
Right now, they've been passionate. They've had fun. And I would think that they're gaining confidence would be the 3 things I would say. That yesterday's scrimmage, we had very few mistakes compared to the first scrimmage. So they're learning more about red zone helps you win. You got to make third downs. You got to kick the last second field goal to win. They blocked a couple of field goals. So I just feel like that they're getting more into this is a new team. We're not looking at the past at all. We're not looking at the future. This is the now, and we need to be the best we can be in the now. And I've told them, if you play the best you can play and it's not good enough, we'll go to next week. It's just the only thing that we should do is make ourselves accountable to each other that we do our best.
When did you tell the quarterbacks?
Phil told them this morning, yeah, in their position meetings. And we decided last night.
Was that a decision, you said that all the staff, was that just you and Phil kind of talking, kind of make that final decision, or how does that kind of come about?
We get input from everybody. Sally always says I ask too many people's opinion because I like to know what everybody in the room thinks, and it's really important to me to know what Stacy Searle thinks. We're not going to let him make the quarterback decision, but I'd like to know what he feels like his players think, and Lonnie Galloway and even Coach Bateman, because they have to play against them every day. So I get input from everybody, and then I make the final decision. I'd rather it be the same one the position coach likes, because then he's obviously feels better about it. But I'm going to make him convince me of why that one should be up there right now. And that doesn't mean if Sam plays awful tomorrow that he'll stay there. I mean, he just everybody goes up and down every day. You got to, when you earn the right to be in that position, you got to keep it.
So to make it clear, you're naming him the blue team quarterback going forward until something else changes?
Yes. Okay. Just like Charlie Heck's the blue team left tackle.
Yeah, not a starter.
We don't have starters. It sounds funny, and you all don't like that. You want a depth chart, you need starters, and we're in this little box we've always been in. But the thing we're trying to sell them on when you're in the game, you're a starter. So how many plays are you going to start? Because we need more depth, and that's key for us. And if you just say, here are the starters and the rest of these guys are they're not factors, then you can't build depth. So Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge taught me long ago, depth is the most important thing you have. It'll help us with injuries. It'll help us with team morale. It'll help us in the fourth quarter when both teams are getting tired in the heat. So we constantly talk about earning the number of plays that you should play. And we don't talk about whether you're a 1 or a 2. We never even mention that. We don't talk about starters as a team. So
Nick Polino said yesterday he played center throughout the whole scrimmage. So is he blue team center right now?
yes,
And
today.
Today. And
Unless
Brian
something's
Anderson
changed since we.
Brian Anderson, the white team center.
Yes.
Jason Strobridge yesterday talked about how the heat was a factor. How did you see depth in the 2s and the 3s coming in behind those maybe senior guys? How did they handle getting maybe more snaps due to fatigue from the heat?
Yeah, it's good. We feel like that we are developing some depth. We need more depth in the offensive line. That's iffy right now of who would step in, and we're trying to get at least 7 or 8 guys, even if you have to play a guy at both right and left guard, or maybe easy plays left tackle and either guard. So we're looking at the best 8 players if we don't have enough. Same thing with the defensive line. Strobridge, you'll move him around. He's such a great player that when you move him around, who can play his inside position? But you don't want him all the time where he gets double teamed. So that's the key to camp is developing depth, figuring out who your best players are, and getting your schemes to adjust to your best players, and staying healthy. That's just it. Every day I read somebody's out in camp nationally, and that's a very difficult thing when they get this tired and you hit them every day. That's why we send them to the pool. Today I thought they'd done enough. And yesterday I could see they're worn out some, but they're in great shape and they're giving us everything they've got. Let's don't be stupid today and have one fall into another one just because they're exhausted.
Did you notice anything different in Sam today, like maybe like a more pep in his step or more vocal?
No, I didn't notice anything different in any of the 3. They were all 3 the same guy. They're great young people. They're very smart, and they all are going to compete. So that's good.
What true freshmen have really, all right, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen really stood out to you that you think can make a substantial impact this season? I know there's probably some that have done well but may not play as much. The guys that stand out to you.
That's a hard one because you don't think about them as very few of them are going to start or none. So they'd all be in that role that we're talking about of plays. And Awesome Richards has had a good camp. Ty Murray and Tristan Miller were doing well and had to take some days off. So they kind of got behind. Joffrey Brown, Weldon Spottsville have both stepped up. I'll forget somebody now since I don't have them in front of me, so I'll have a mother mad. Tamari Fox has done a good job. Ray Vahasek has done a good job in the front. The guys that were here in the spring, I don't count them as new guys, but Emory Simmons and Kadri Jackson, those guys they both played well, but it's really amazing how much more ready to play you are if you came in January. It's those kids they're already been to class. They've already been through an off season. They've already been through a spring practice. So that it's a huge advantage for the guys that get here early for your first year. Who am I missing?
Storm Duck's a name we've heard.
Storm's playing. He's with the white. He's with a white team. Some with the grays, but he's done some good things. Obi has played well. You'll have to figure out the rest of the name. I go with Obi. I got enough names. And then Don Chapman. I think they're both been good players. We're still waiting on Cam Kelly's decision, so it's put us in an awful spot. He's in an awful spot. We're less than 2 weeks away from the game, and we don't know if he's going to be eligible. And he doesn't know if he's going to be eligible. So they've put him in a really difficult spot, and we're still waiting. So we don't know whether to coach him or not coach him or put him in. Can he be on kick teams? It's just right now we have no decision.
Is that a situation where you just suddenly you're going to hear from them and that's the update, or is there any interaction at all right now?
There's interaction with compliance. That's who talks to them, so not with me. So, and I've never had this before, so from what I can tell, we just get a call and he's either eligible or not.
What's the relationship been like with Tamari and Tamon? Obviously brothers. It's like a little different relationship than just two teammates. What have you seen out of that?
They don't have a lot of interaction. I don't think they're brothers, and they probably, like my brother, probably compete with each other. And but we've got 110 here, and I'm only around them on the field and in the team meetings and at lunch and dinner and breakfast. So it'd be hard for me to say how much they hang out. And they were all in a hotel for 14 days together, but I don't see them hanging out all the time. I think they're really different with their personalities.
Alan Cater is one of those guys who you guys obviously actively seen before training, but just through 2 weeks is kind of what's the impression?
Alan's probably just now getting well from his knee operation. He's been a real impact for the defense up front, so we need him to be healthy and we need him to play. He's 6'5", 250 pounds and can run. Tyrone Hopper has been set back with an injury. He should be back in the next couple of days. We need him to play. Both of those guys that Larry didn't have last year. So we need both of those guys back, and I think both can be really good players.
Just,
We got time for one more, guys.
opening up practice tomorrow night just for the fans and stuff, but just kind of why was that important to you guys?
I want us to continue to create excitement. I want the players to feel that the excitement I feel traveling around the state and being out and around. And again, they're tired, so it's a pickup more than anything else. And we've got 4,000 students that are going up to light the tower, and they're going to come down at the end of practice and cheer the guys on. So I just want the guys and the students to have a bonding, a connection, and the fans to all come out. And coaches are mad at me because they said South Carolina's going to be there, and I said, I don't care. There's not many secrets anymore. Everybody got some video.